Down in the dirt, building my dome. Concrete walls, yeah, it's my home. Stockpile stacked with rations tight. Prep for the dark, we'll light the fight. Forage the woods, take what I need. Off-grid living, no time for greed. Barter goods in the shadow shade. Tactical steps in plans I've laid. Back to the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepared for the fall. Yeah, prepared for it all. Generators hum, a comforting sound. Blackout nights when chaos surrounds. Seeds in jars, yeah, we're growing life. Homesteading strong in a time of strife. No high-tech wires, no web to roam. Resilience beats the world unknown. Hands in the soil, hearts in the fight. Staying ready every day, every night. Back to the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepare for the fall. Yeah, prepare for it all. Make through the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepare for the fall. Yeah, prepare for it all. Prepare for it all. When central power rules the game, when thoughts controlling freedom's name, when the governed lose to government might, tell me who's got the wrong kind of right.
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are having a great hump day. Yeah, that's right. I changed the music. I made some more fancy prepper music for you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. If you did, put a one in the chat for me so I know I did good. Let's see. Go ahead and knock it out. Let's see. Rose first, not a sponsor. 2, West Virginia Pappy. You are deterred. All right, now that we got that out, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody else who's hanging out in here, giving us their time. We got Cindy Hoffman. Good morning. Deanna Tuck is in the house. Got Rose showing up. Got Ian. We got Bradley. Not a sponsor, just like wanting all sorts of music. Bob Pete, Catitude. Oops. Good morning, LP and all. And I'm going to instantly, once I see oops, I instantly know I need to move from top chat to live chat. Yes, I like all sorts of music, hip hop, rap, country, hard rock, you name it. I kind of like it as long as it's got a good beat and I can understand what the hell they're saying. I'm completely happy with it. I'm completely happy with it. All right, so the no real admin notes to start today. Still, once again, nobody has guessed my side gig, which is kind of funny, but it's okay. No, I do not work at Walmart for the umpteenth million time. Let's see. Today's live stream. Good morning, Pilgrim. Good to see you. Today's live stream is, and by the way, we're right at about a 13-second delay, which is not bad for YouTube. Cockfish, shut up. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Um, Today's live stream was inspired by hurricane season that's coming, and I'm not going to be. I don't want to be like this guy. It's like, oh, it's hurricane season. Let's go over the 5 C's of hurricane season. I want to talk about a few other things. One of the things that we kind of expect is our hospitals to work. We almost it's kind of funny because we almost feel like I'm a taxpayer and my hospitals are supposed to work, and we kind of forget that they are Uber driver. I did that once. That is not the current employee. That is not the current job. But it's a great guess. It's a great. I drove for both Uber and Lyft in between my lucrative government contracting jobs. But anyway, good morning, Second Life, and good morning, Lazy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Anyway, so we kind of expect our hospitals to work, but what we did was we found out that when the big stuff kind of comes, the hospitals kind of fail. And I did see where Rose had put why hospitals fail: facility design, egress and regress, plans not updated frequently, placement of necessary utilities for their plant, disaster drills to keep staff on point, when to leave and where to go. All valid points, all valid points. But it's interesting when I was doing the research for today's live stream that there were really a lot of lessons learned during the major hurricanes. Now, to get things going, once again, you guys do. Oh my God, we've already got 15 votes in the in the, okay. So the question was, what is the most critical lesson from hurricanes Helene and Milton for medical preparedness? 80% believe pre-event planning and coordination. 13% believe ensuring continuity of care, 7% medical supply chain resilience, and 0% protecting medical personnel. Now, once again, I do not ask that you do this up front because you may learn a few things and change your mind. I don't. If you can change your vote, someone let me know in the chat if you can actually change your vote, because as I understand it, you cannot, but it's good information for everybody to know. Let's see here. Hat model. Let's see here. He is the great and powerful Oz. Uh, he is what you see once you look behind the curtain. There you go. Bouncer. No, I've never been a bouncer. Let's see here. Let's see. Hurricane season inbound. Greetings from Southeast Florida. Yeah, exactly right. No, I'm not a hat model. I'm not a hat model or a hand model, but I am a coffee model. Anywho. Okay, so with all that said, um, we already know what the poll is. Everybody pretty much believes that it's pre-event planning and coordination, which is probably the strongest answer. But we're gonna go. West Virginia Pappy says FEMA approved planning don't work. Okay, so my throat. I'm awful. I'm awful coffee this morning. I'm not sure. Coffee. Need that 180-degree coffee down my throat. That didn't come out right at all. All right, so here's what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the lessons in medical preparedness from hurricanes Helene and Milton. Now, as if you're new to the channel, I talk about stuff, you write about stuff, I talk about the stuff that you wrote. We'll cover this in sections because it's actually kind of in depth. Um, Hurricane Helene and Milton, which struck in rapid succession, if you guys don't remember, revealed critical vulnerabilities in medical preparedness while showcasing strategies to bolster resilience for future disasters. Now, these storms they tested emergency response systems and proved uh, or actually not proved, but provided actionable insights for communities, healthcare systems, and policymakers. Now, here, I'm going to lay out or some lessons followed by expanded recommendations to enhance your medical preparedness mindset. And the first thing we're going to talk about is what everybody believes the answer is: a gigolo. That I can neither confirm or deny that. uh, Pre-event planning and coordination. Now, hurricanes Helene and Milton demonstrated the necessity for robust pre-event planning and interagency coordination. Media facilities, emergency responders, and public health agencies must collaborate to develop comprehensive response strategies well before disaster strike. Excuse me. I'm not sure what's going on with my throat here. All right, so let's talk about something called proactive. I'm not sure what's going on with my throat here. It like wants to be all scruffy. All right, so proactive risk assessments. Now, these storms expose weaknesses in medical infrastructure, particularly in coastal regions. Regular evaluations of hospitals, clinics, and nursing homes are essential to identify vulnerabilities and ensure tailored evacuation or backup plans. Now, interagency communication was a problem. Milton's aftermath saw delayed medical supplies or medical supply delivery due to poor coordination. Pre established communication protocols and unified command structures are critical to streamline efforts across local, state, and federal agencies. That is not important. Now, with all that said, guys, the next thing that was kind of importante. West Virginia Baptist says, I should say, government planning don't work. I got you. Chippendale's dancer, incorrect, incorrect. All right. But you know what? I wonder if this question keeps my chat rate up. Let's close that. Let's go to analytics. Nope, chat rate's only at 1. Not helping. Not helping. Anywho, so the next one would be ensuring continuity of care. Now, disruptions to medical services during hurricanes leave vulnerable populations at risk. Helene and Milton highlighted strategies to maintain care continuity during and after disasters. And telemedicine, facilities with telehealth capabilities better manage chronic conditions care or chronic condition care when physical access was limited. Now, telemedicine provided vital for remote consultations, reducing strain and overwhelmed hospitals. Also, believe it or not, emergency dialysis slash oxygen. Patients dependent on dialysis or oxygen face significant challenges. Pre-registration systems enabled targeted evaluation, or I'm sorry, evacuations, ensuring access to life-sustaining treatments. Now, something else that came up was pharmaceutical access. Make sure I'm in the right place. Pharmaceutical access. Evacuees during Helene often lacked presentation prescription medications. Encouraging a 2-week emergency supply for residents mitigates risks of shortages during evacuations. Gee, I wonder how they could have a 2-week supply of medications. Chase Medical. I wonder how they could actually pull that off. But interesting, interesting. All right, I'm going to go to the chat here real quick here. Beard model, no. Bradley, stop erasing your comments, Bradley. If it went through, let's see here. Stupid phone wasn't playing sound. Just realized I missed the first scene. Oh my God, that's hilarious, Bradley. That's hilarious. If I had not, stupid autocorrect. Encyclopedia salesman. No, I was a family who had a full set of encyclopedias in my house. Not a joke. Dad built a shelf, bought the whole damn thing for whatever hell year it was. And it was actually pretty awesome because every we could get like our reports done. And I hated school, so don't get me wrong. I wasn't like getting all, oh my God, school's so great. Um, but I remember I could like never had to go to the library to look things up that I could look up at my own house. And I remember when I was a kid, I even got asked, "How do you know this?" Well, Dad bought us encyclopedias, the whole set. So it's like 2 grand for encyclopedias. It's crazy how expensive they are. But anyway, we had a set. We were smart, even though I hated school. Let's see here. Lazy Fundamental says high threat physical security analysis specialist. No, that is currently not what I am doing. Uh, Pierce Brosnan stunt double. I um no, he's kind of isn't he like didn't Pierce Brosnan play the one of the James Bonds? I don't think I really look like that. Let's see here. Part of the problem with medical supply chain was the loss of large medical fluids manufacturers, IV Solutions. Yes, absolutely. Salesman. No, I do not do that anymore. Bradley says, not a sponsor. I'd be a chip and Dell if I didn't have such knobby knees. Damn phone messed that up. West Virginia Pappy says, I still have a set. There you go. Let's see. Cuffy says, consultant for something. LP job. No, believe it or not, I did offer those services, but nobody ever partook in them. Let's see. My second life says gas station, toilet paper refiller. You are so close. No, not even close. Tuckfee says, I grew up with an encyclopedia says yes, exactly. Goldeneye. There we go. Ian says recently bought a set of encyclopedias. They just wanted to get rid of them. I paid $20. Well, the encyclopedias still have are still valid. They still have validity. But the problem is they're more about history, and it's very difficult to use them in a science or math application. It's got to be like a landmass that never moved or something like that. But they're still neat. They're still neat. They're neat to have on the frickin' like on your shelf or something like that. $20 for a full set. I'll take that. But that's a lot of damn books. If you guys don't know, that's a lot of damn books. All right, let's see here. The next thing, you know what? Let's go ahead and check the poll out. Let's check the poll, see if that's moved. It hasn't really moved. The question is, what is the most critical lesson for Hurricane Helene and Milton for medical preparedness? And 82% believe that pre-event planning and coordination. Electric company water meter or electric company water meter. Yeah, electric company meter reader. Negative. Negative. This thing actually says my chat rate is 0. This is hilarious. I don't understand what's happened. The chat is rolling, but the data is not. Anyway, all right. So, what do we got? And I am on the wrong. Let me push that button over there. There we go. All right. So, number three, medical supply chain resilience. Resilience. Now, um, supply chain disruptions during both hurricanes severely impacted care delivery, from hospital equipment to basic first aid. These delays underscored the needs for resilient logistics. So, obviously, it should be all about stockpile. So, stockpiling, we're 20 minutes into this, guys. I just got the notification that the live stream started. That's hilarious. All right, so stockpiling. And believe it or not, they're supposed to do the same thing. Substitute mailman, negative. All right, let's see here. So local stockpiles of essentials like bandages, antibiotics, and IV fluids were inadequate. Decentralized. Storm resilient warehouses can ensure rapid access to critical supplies. They're also flexible logistics, flooded roads during Milton, halted supply trucks. Alternative delivery methods such as helicopters or drones proved effective in bypassing ground transportation barriers. So their logistics system was pretty messed up, pretty messed up. Um, why it happened that way, I don't know. I don't know. But we're going to go into some of the details as well that should give you a few answers. And I think this kind of educational type stuff should make us more well-rounded preppers. Anybody can start a fire. Anybody can purify water. Anybody can stack some cans or go pew 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 pew. But understanding the problem behind the problem is sometimes more important than solving the problem. All right. So with that said, The next one was protecting medical personnel. Now, healthcare workers faced extreme stress and safety risks during the storm. Protecting these essential personnel is vital for sustained disaster response. You don't take care of your people can't do their jobs. It's really that simple. So, now, the first thing in that little subsect is staff safety. And, Helene revealed hospitals lacking safe shelter for their staff. Designating secure areas within facilities ensures workers can operate without personal risk. Also, mental health support. You know, there's a psychological toll on responders, and it became very evident. Counseling and peer support programs are critical to address burnout and post traumatic stress. Now, with that said, with that said, I'm going to go to the chat here real quick and see if anybody's dreamt it up yet. Let's see. My Second Life says, I miss encyclopedias. They were they were law growing up. I don't trust the internet. Any a-hole can have a website. I even had one. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's all about standards. It's Second Life. It's all about standards. There's just nobody has any standards anymore, and so they just kind of print whatever they want to print. And it's actually gotten even worse in the last 2 or 3 years with AI being in everything. There's so many times where I search Google for something, and you got to get the AI answer first, right? And so it tells you something, and if it sounds right, then you take it to heart. If it doesn't sound right, then you got to go looking around to see if the AI just lied to you. And several times I've caught AI lying, or I won't say lying, I won't say misdirecting. I will just say giving me false information. So let's see here. Let's see here. Bradley says, "Oh, no one broke the internet with our chat rate." No, it says our chat rate is still at zero right now. It says it's at zero. We're gonna fix that here in about 7 minutes, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's see. A gardener. No, I'm not a professional gardener. Matter of fact, I've forgotten to water my tomato plants 3 days in a row, so I probably need to water my tomato plants. Let's see here. Rose says, with every disaster, there needs to be a lessons learned to plan for the next disaster. Lessons learned from Hurricane Andrew was construction. Palm Harbor homes became the industry model. They stood. I love it. I love it. My Second Life, I can publish a book too. There you go. Yeah, the Marine Corps has a program called Mickles, Marine Corps Lessons Learned, and every time we came off of an operation, whether it was like full up real world or if it was just a 1 week field event, something like that, we would like uh, tell our Marines to, hey, this weekend, write me some bullets, some stuff that went down, and how to fix it. Okay. And then we would literally, that next Monday, if we weren't going to the field, we would literally get on our computers, which was kind of hilarious because there was like one in the entire company. And like like putting in these things into the Mickles portal for people to read. And then the idea was that you could do a search for something, right? And then all these lessons or all these things that happened would pop up, and then you could learn from them. It never really took off. It was mostly a headquarters driven thing. And if the top down, reads but doesn't heed, then the problem will always exist. Will always exist. All right. Chat rate is at 3. Thank you guys for doing that stuff. I appreciate you. Let's see. Cell tower light bulb changer. No, West Virginia Pappy. I could not. I could never do that job. I'm all about. I can do things that a lot of people just won't push themselves to do. But I'm also like, why would I want to torture myself? And it's hilarious because, like when I'm flying or I'm physically flying a helicopter or an airplane myself. Um, excuse me. No fears whatsoever. I feel completely calm. But like a balcony ledge, 10 or more stories high, I get the willies. I've actually had altitude sickness before, and I think that that's what kicks it off. It's very, very weird how my body is, unfortunately. But no, not that. Catitude says, "Are you going to write a prepper book, LP?" Man, I think about it all the time. I have a lot of notes about, pretty much every. I have the notes from almost every single one of these live streams. Um, so it's not like I don't have enough information. But I think I want to write a book. I just don't want to be one of those like, oh, another prepper book, blah blah blah, filter water, blah blah. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want it to be one of those. Um, Tomatoes are heavy feeders, need that water. Yeah, Bradley, I need to. I've got to do the water. I think because they're on the other side of the apartment, I keep forgetting about them. Lots of icons. Vet Tech. No, I am not a Vet Tech. Reserve EMT. I am not a Reserve EMT. Um, Product namer. A product namer. That's my job. But just tell me what you've got, and I'll give you the name of the product. No, I'm not a product namer. I'm neither. I'm also not a helicopter tour guide. What do we got here? Bradley says, I do the cell phone tower light I'd do the cell phone tower light bulb changer. I'd probably get up there and couldn't make it back down. Down is easy, bro. Down is easy. It's forcing yourself to go past the fear of just continuing to go up and up and up and up and up. Tuck says I don't own any prepper books. Everything on the internet is free, man. It's almost to that point. I would do cell phone tower light bulb changer if I could do it with a drone. Yes. It would be like super ooper drone somethings. Vegan cook review. I guess you're still laying in bed. You're still laying in bed playing on your phone. Good to see you, vegan. Good to see you, bro. All right, so let's check the. We're rolling up on halfway, but we're not there yet, and I still have lots of information to relay to you because this is an educational channel. Pilgrim says that's why I never made prepping content. It's all been done already. Exactly. And I'll be honest with you guys. Sometimes I cover the same thing. Maybe once a year, I'll cover the same thing. Wind turbine engineer, negative. But it's all about making it relevant. It's all about making it relevant. And for me, it's about um, I like to teach, um, or should I say, instruct. But uh, that for me, that's why I do this because I know that I'm getting information out to you guys that you may have. It's kind of like I'm kind of like a prepper alarm clock. It's like, okay, it's time to start thinking about this. Oh shit, maybe I need to start doing that. And that's kind of the way I view myself. All right, let's see here. Get it? He blows. No. Let's see here. Bradley says, "Have you looked at emergency lacerations tape? Saw a video on a clip it though. Thought they were. Are you talking about the? It's like this tape. You got to unpeel it a very specific way. I have some, but it's hard to train on it because it's like $23 for one of these things, right? No, I'm not a nanny. Um, and you put it over the big slice and you pull the skin together and then tape it down. Is that what you're talking about? Because that's incredibly, incredibly smart. That kind of technology actually can alleviate the need for stitches. Um, if you've got to leave it on for like 3 days, you know what I'm saying? And then just constantly replace it with that type of tape. Let's see here. Well, let's see here. Nanny volunteer. I'm not a volunteer. I am not a volunteer firefighter. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into this, guys. Evacuation, or I'm sorry, this is a number one. Yes, prematurely, but I wanted to get my number one in the middle of the show. Yes, that's the tape. Yes, it's very incredible technology. It's very incredible technology. I feel like this live stream may last more than an hour, which could be great for you guys. Okay, so and I do have the time today. So you know the deal. If you love your country, put a number one in the chat. I'm going to continue to drink some coffee. Light Raider, good morning, my friend. Talk some smack, read you some stuff, and yes, pay some bills. All right, I wanted to share something with you guys. That's right, we got the old Refuge Medical back up again today. The reason is because there's the best darn medical supply company on the planet, made in America. Anyway, so the real question was that was brought up was, you know, you know, um, there's like this whole thing like everybody's trying to save money. And I get it, I get it. But listen, there's certain things that you don't save money on. You know what I'm saying? You save money on half price candy that's not it's not brand name candy. Maybe you save money because you bought like a brand name soda pop that tastes just like Mr. Pibb. You know what I'm saying? But you don't save money on things that must work every time. Okay. You don't try to save money there. If you can, you can. Okay. Maybe there's something new on the market that changes the game. I get it. But for the most part, you just don't do that stuff. So the first thing you need to know about Refuge is that they're not the cheapest first aid kits on the market, and that's done by design. Actually, you get what you pay for, and they make sure that it's worth it. That is for sure. Now, because your life and your family deserve gear that has been tested, trusted, and built to last. Every kit they offer is made for real world emergencies in mind. When they use premium components, top tier medical supplies, and the bags that are made and sewn right in the USA. And what they also don't tell you is that all of their textiles are sourced here in the United States as well. Why? Because you deserve the best. You're Americans. It's that easy. Now, um, one of the key things that you need to know about Refuge Medical is that they don't cut corners. They don't do gimmicks. They build kits that are trusted by law enforcement, military, thousands of families who chose quality over convenience. And the key thing to remember here is that when it matters most, you won't be asking how much money you saved. You'll be asking if the gear is good enough to save your life. Now, with Refuge Medical, that is never a question. If you take a look down there, there's a code for those people who've never been here before. Local Prepper is going to save you 15%. Does it say 15%? Because I think I'm going off memory here. 50, yeah, 15%. 15% on anything that you buy. I'm not going to talk to you about the Mother's Day special because if you don't know about it, well, then you aren't paying attention. It's that easy. And you could like win some serious stuff. Anyway, Refuge Medical, use code Local Prepper, all one word, save 15% because it ain't cheap, but it's like a Glock. It'll work out of the box every single time, and it has a lifetime guarantee. All right, guys, let's get back to the main. All right, so now that we're back out of that, we paid those bills today. And it's funny too because I use Refuge Medical so often. Um, I believe in the company. I believe in the company, but here's the thing: they don't pay me a penny to do this. Yeah, that's right. I only make the money when you buy stuff. So they don't pay me a penny to do this stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Assistant deputy mayor. That's funny. That is funny, lazy. Um, the assistant deputy. No, I don't think I could do that job because I would be too busy telling people how wrong they are and stop your complaining. The sewers work fine. Go plant some flowers. All right. All right. I'm gonna pour my backup. I can't believe I'm into my backup coffee already. I think that's a lot to do with my throat. I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try the a disc jockey. No, this job is doing the live stream is very much like being a disc jockey. I have one. I have one of the mighty blue pills left. We're going to see if that can help my throat. All right, let's see here. So, number five, evacuation challenges. Now, evacuating medical facilities proved logistically complex during both hurricanes, highlighting areas for improvement. Now, one of those areas was pre identified shelters. Overcrowded shelters struggled to accommodate patients with medical needs. Now, dedicated shelters for those populations can prevent bottlenecks and improve care, but they'll probably never do that because that will cost money. Also, transportation. Now, Milton's evacuation were delayed by insufficient medical transport. Partnership with private ambulance service and volunteer networks can expand capacity. Also, medical records. Evacuated patients often lacked medical histories. Cloud based electronic health records, also known as EHR systems, ensure providers have access to critical information. And I will tell you guys, it's very, very interesting. I don't go to the doctor very often, but obviously the girlfriend does. Um, and this whole they've got a system out there. If you know the name of it, put it in the chat. Viagra for the throat. Yes, it keeps. Uh, um, there's a piece of software. It's a system. Okay, it's a networked system that all of the hospitals and doctors are going to, and you literally can like you can literally like get something done like kind of diagnostics done at a special place, and then your doctor in your little hometown can actually um like view all of that information and do comparisons. You know what I'm saying? um we were able to look at the girlfriend's tumors from one scan to the next and compare them in size to see if the tumors had been shrinking. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Uh, that's hilarious. Confidential informant. Oh, yeah, that's what I would tell you, right? I would say, yeah, that's it. Let's see here. Bradley says, small favor, please don't talk about blue pills. Stupid Facebook will have like 100 blue commercials pop up on me. Yeah, good. Blue pill, blue pill, blue pill. There you go. That's for you, Bradley. It's just for you. Striker. Actually, I was a striker, as in the position played when I played soccer in high school. Let's see. Pilgrim says, I took Viagra once. It got stuck in my throat. I was up all night with a stiff neck. Okay, good job, Pilgrim. Good job. Okay, so number 6, public education. The storms underscored the importance of an informed public in medical preparedness. Educated residents are better equipped to protect their health during crisis. Now, how do they do this? Well, the first one was emergency kits. You know, many lacked basic medical supplies like first aid kits or medications. We talk about this all the time. Public campaigns can also promote assembling and maintaining these kits, as you very well know. Striker software. No, I don't think it's called Striker software, or I don't think the software is called Striker. It's called something else. Um, I can look it up. I've got an email where they sent me where I went and got checked out a few months back, and I was like, oh, I've got to do this online, blah blah blah, and then now magically every hospital that I give permission to look can look at it all. So something like that. All right, let's see here. But also, don't forget about the public campaigns can promote assembling and maintaining these kits. Now, special needs registries. Registries for individuals with medical needs enabled targeted assistance. Expanding participation ensures vulnerable populations are prioritized. Also, community training, first aid, and CPR training empowers residents to prove or provide initial care, bridging the gap until professional help arrives. And I think we often forget about that. I think we often forget about that. It's like, just throw a tourniquet on it, he'll be fine. Like, it's like just rub some dirt in it. No, there's going to be, in most situations in trauma, and initial trauma care, on-site field, first responder type trauma care, which a lot of people kind of focus their kits on, is great. But there is going to be follow-up trauma care required. So this is why it's important that we can like help our hospitals and understand where some of their problems are. So number 7, post-event recovery. The recovery phase is critical for evaluating medical responses and addressing long-term health impacts. Now, data collection was a big problem. Inconsistent data on patient outcomes and resource using hindered analysis. Standardized post-event data collection can identify strengths and gaps. Also, adaptive planning. Recovery must address immediate needs and long term issues such as mold related respiratory problems or mental health challenges. It's pretty crazy how deep the rabbit hole goes when you start talking about the failures of these hospitals and if they learned anything from it. Now, number my chart. There you go, Light Raider. Yep, it's my chart, and there's a name of the company that does my charts now, but that's it. That's it. Let's see here. Wound care bucket. Exactly, exactly. But that's in the ultimate of emergencies, Light Raider. They have that wound care bucket, and I have one myself. Um, but it's the hospital should be able to do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? So that should be the focus. That should be the focus. Epic. That's it, Rose. Epic is the name of it. Epic is the one that everybody's going to now. In fact, the big conversation, like when anything went wrong in the last 2 months, on in this journey I'm taking with the girlfriend, um, because she has cancer, if you didn't know. And every single time there was something wrong, like a scheduling problem or labs didn't go someplace or whatever, they always blamed the fact that Epic was this brand new system, which was really just copy and paste from an old system that is better now. And that was that's why things happened. Not the human error could never be the problem. It was always something else. All right, but that's it. That's it. Epic. All right, so number 8, leveraging technology. Technological advancements offer opportunities to enhance medical preparedness. You know, uh, Early warning systems. Accurate weather forecasts enable hospitals to activate emergency plans. Integrating these into medical workflows ensures timely responses. Geospatial mapping, real-time mapping guided resources allocating during Milton, identifying the flood areas for targeted rescues. Also, mobile apps. You know, Apps provide alerts about open pharmacies or shelters, and it's streamlined access to care, proving uh, invaluable during these two crises. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. Now we're going to go into some expanded recommendations here shortly, but I want to check the if you guys want to put something in the chat. Now is the time to do that. But we're not done. Don't worry, we're not done. We're just going into the expanded recommendations. But checking the poll, and the poll, the question is, what's the most critical lesson from Hurricane Helene and Milton for medical preparedness? 81% believe that pre-event planning and conditions. 10% is ensuring continuity of care. 10% is medical supply chain resilience, and zero protecting medical personnel. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. I think we are ready, set, and go. All right. So with the expanded recommendations for medical preparedness, is to build on lessons from Hurricane Helene and Milton. I've got some recommendations, and we're going to provide some detailed strategies to strengthen the medical preparedness. Now, each point expands on the identified lessons that we've talked about already and offering practical steps for those implementations. The first one is going to be enhance pre event planning with simulation exercises. Now, communities should conduct regular disaster simulation exercises involving hospitals, emergency services, and public health agencies. Will this happen? Very unlikely, very unlikely. But these drills are tailored to hurricane scenarios, can prevent can test evacuation plans. Now, communication protocols and resource allocation. For example, simulation could mimic a Category 5 hurricane, impacting a coastal hospital. Identify weaknesses in infrastructure or coordination. An annual exercises supported by federal funding would ensure readiness and foster collaboration across agencies. Additionally, involving community leaders can align local resources with medical needs, creating a cohesive response framework. And let's see here. It's all screwed up. Medical drug tester Yeah, but only the good ones. No, I'm not a medical drug tester. Let's see here. Rose says no Oracle slash Center and Epic are both trying to be on top. Each system have plus plus S Epics, physical friendly. Kerner better for documentation retrieval. I got you. I got you. Physician friendly. One of the things that I noticed about Epic was that, um, it's like when you call your doctor's office and have a question. Um, Sometimes they could get back to you, sometimes they couldn't. I'll relay your message to the doctor, blah, 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 right? But you can literally get onto my charts and type a question to the doctor, okay? And that question will go directly to either the doctor screener or the doctor. And a lot of times it goes directly to the doctor. And I've literally watched, like, while the doctor is listening to or speaking with the girlfriend, a message will pop up, and that they'll actually like pretend it's like a cell phone and like check it while they're talking to my girlfriend. um and I could see the screen but she couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So she didn't know it was from a completely different patient asking a question, you know what I'm saying? And then they can like push a button and it like pauses it or puts it on hold or something like that, right? But so they can come back to it later, obviously. But I do like the fact, and the response time is so much faster. So just an FYI, just an FYI. Let's see here. Hospital is just a building without medical person. Absolutely, West Virginia Pappy. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons that I have protecting medical personnel because guys, like I said, the West Virginia Pappy nailed it. A hospital is just a building without medical personnel. Without the medical personnel, it's just a building. Okay. And unfortunately, kind of not a very well built one. Anyway, Rose says Cerner has a similar system as well. Both have online or video chats. Gotcha. Let's see here. He here got get on this conveyor belt. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Expanded telemedicine infrastructure. I need to move this over. Yeah, I've still got a lot of stuff to tell you guys. All right, so expanded telemedicine infrastructure. Investing in telemedicine platforms is critical for maintaining care during disasters if you have the satellite for it. Governments and healthcare systems should subsidize telehealth adoption in rural and underserved areas, ensuring equitable access. Training healthcare providers on virtual care protocols can streamline operations during the crisis. For instance, during Helene, telemedicine enabled remote management of diabetes and hypertension, reducing hospital administrations or sorry, reducing hospital admissions. Public private partnerships can develop secure, scalable platforms, while backup power sources for telehealth hubs ensures functionality during those outages. And then we also need to look at developing robust supply chain networks. This was, I think, was one of our biggest problems. You know, um, to address supply chain vulnerabilities, regions should establish regional medical supply hubs with storm-resistant designs, such as elevated warehouse or reinforced storage units. These hubs should maintain a 30-day stockpile of critical items, including antibiotics, insulin, and wound care supplies. Federal grants can fund these facilities, while logistic plans should incorporate alternative delivery methods. For examples, drone, maybe it's a drone delivery system, it's this actually was done. They were successfully piloted during Milton and can be scaled up with regulatory support, ensuring supplies reach isolated areas. Now, regular audits of stockpiles can prevent shortages. Now, one of the things that I kind of focus on is that if you're going to have these 30-day supplies just sitting out there, then you should be rotating them. And when I say rotating them, you literally like have some person, it's his job to go to the storage facility every day because the hospital needs this, and this. And then that same person automatically orders or even have it automated so that it instantly orders something you've taken out of your stockpile, just like we rotate our pantry, right? And that kind of system should exist. If it doesn't, it's a problem. We have a medical supply company down the road from the property in North Carolina, and it's a warehouse. Unfortunately, it's not on high ground, but I've never seen the roof ripped off it. Hopefully, knock on hardest thing in the room. But how do they have to basically manage all of those medical supplies because it's actually kind of in the center of two different hospitals. So you know damn well that's where they get their medical supplies from, but that should be like the rotational point. Anyway, let's see here. Let's see here. Get on the card. Similar. Don't forget to have payments ready at end of the belt. There you go. Debbie showed up. No, it's not too late. It's not too late, Debbie. It's not too late. All right, so the next thing is we're gonna need to prioritize healthcare worker resilience. Now, protecting medical personnel requires comprehensive systems and support systems, or a comprehensive safety and support systems. You know, hospitals should retrofit facilities with hurricane-resistant safe zones. Equipped with food, water, and communications tools. Training programs can prepare staff for disaster scenarios, emphasizing self care and stress management. Mental health support should include on site counselors and post disaster debriefings. We're going to kind of like draw from models used in the military settings, like I was telling you guys about Mickles. In incentives such as hazard pay or child care support can encourage staff retention during crisis, ensuring a robust workforce. Because I know there's been times where it's like, if you wanted to keep your job, you had to stay, kind of thing. And it's kind of like, well, what about my family? What about my safety? Things like that. But I don't know if it's a great idea to pay them more money because a hurricane came. But I think it's something that's worth looking at and studying harder. Also, the next thing would be streamline the evacuation process. Evacuation plans must prioritize medical facilities and vulnerable populations. States should designate regional medical shelters with specialized equipment, such as ventilators and dialysis machines, to accommodate patients with complex needs. Public private partnerships can expand transportation fleets, integrating buses and ambulances and even military vehicles for large scale evacuations. Also, you have your cloud based EHR systems backed by federal standards, should be universally adopted to ensure seamless data access. Whether we like it or not, regular drills can test these systems, identifying gaps in coordination or resources. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and check the chat real quick. I'm going to let this thing go right there. All right, let's see here. Maybe now they will allow people to get their meds early. I mean, it's just smart. We talk about this. This is not a sales pitch. The Jace me- the Jace medicine, or what is it, Jace Daily program? It's top notch. Get if you guys have to take medication that is going to keep you alive every day, there's no reason for you not to have a stockpile. I mean, unless it's just financially you can't, buy it. I understand that. That makes sense. But I'm saying, like, if you've got the money, why don't you have medicine in case of emergency? McDonald's drive-through manager. No, no. There's no manager for the drive-through. There's a manager for the McDonald's, but it's a good try. It's a good try. Tuck says some supplies being rotated out would still be good. Gauze, for example, wouldn't mind getting a box of surplus gauze. All right, so I need a sip of coffee. I need some coffee here. How much more do we have? How much more do we have? We're getting there. We got about four more segments left. Four more segments. If you guys haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please do so now. It does help the channel. All right. So the next thing is going to be invest in public education campaigns. Now, Public health agencies should launch multimedia campaigns to promote medical preparedness using social media, radio, and community workshops. These campaigns can provide checklists for emergency kits, emphasizing items like sterile bandages, antihistamines, and prescription refills. Also, special needs registries should be promoted through primary care provider and social services during broad enrollment. Community training programs offer through school or civic groups can teach first aid, which they should be doing, CPR. If you got CPR certified when you were in high school, put a one in the chat because that's where I learned it the first time. Um, Community training programs offered through schools or civic groups can teach first aid, CPR, and basic wound care, creating a network of capable responders. Incentives such as tax credits for kit purchases can boost participation. Now, that's an interesting idea, guys. That's an interesting idea. If you, by the way, I bought a 72-hour survival kit, write that off on your taxes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so also, the next thing we need to talk about is strengthening or to strengthen post event analysis. Post disaster recovery requires rigorous data collection to inform future preparedness. You know, uh, Federal agencies should develop standardized templates for tracking patient outcomes, resource utilization, and response times. For example, data from Helene could have quantified medication shortages, guiding stockpile adjustments, long-term health monitoring, including air quality assessments to address mold exposure, should be integrated into recovery plans. Community feedback forms can identify unmet needs, ensuring an adaptive planning reflects real world challenges. It's pretty crazy what could have been done and what has actually taken place. They're very different. So looks like almost everybody here learned it in Cat says seventh grade car trained with Annie. Oh, you got Annie. I got you. I got you. Let's see here. And second time when I was working in corrections. There you go, Ian. CPR. That's all right. That's all right. All right. So the next one is where are we at here? We're getting damn close to being done with this. Integrate advanced technologies. Now, technology can transform medical preparedness. Early warning systems should be linked to hospital command centers, triggering automated protocols like staff mobilization or patient transfers. Geospatial mapping tools enhanced with AI can predict flood risks and optimize rescue routes. As demonstrated during Milton, you know, mobile apps should be developed with offline capabilities, providing real time updates or shelter locations and medical resources. Federal funding can support open source app development, ensuring accessibility. Now, also, blockchain based EHR systems can enhance data security, protecting patient information during chaotic evacuations. Now, as we're getting close to the end of this, I'm going to go ahead and check the chat or check the poll one last time. Let's see here. Currently, the question is, well, what is the most critical lesson for Hurricane Helene and Milton for medical preparedness? 75% believe pre-event planning and coordination. 12% believe ensure continuity of care, and another 12% believe that medical supply chain resilience is important. 0% protecting medical personnel. Interesting, interesting. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up by saying that, Hurricane Helene and Milton exposed critical gaps in medical preparedness, but also um, illuminated pathways to resilience, by prioritizing pre-event planning, supply chain robustness, public education, and technological integration. Communities can mitigate the medical impacts of future disasters. The expanded recommendations, ranging from simulation exercises to advanced technologies, offer a roadmap for building a healthcare system capable of withstanding any storm. Proactive investment in these strategies will save lives, reduce suffering, and ensure equitable care in the face of adversity. Now, all that said, if you guys have not voted yet, now is the time to do it as the live stream is ending very shortly. I'm going to check the chat here real quick and see what we got here. Rose says, health fairs help to promote facility presence, do lab checks, vital checks, unit specific unit specific demonstration to discuss their teams, demonstration for equipment used, and so much more. Exactly, exactly. My second life, highway litter picker upper supervisor. No, negative. That is not me. Let's see here. Rose says your pre-event planning will include plans for staff. Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, guys. We have the 1 hour has came and went. I want to thank you guys all for hanging out with me. I've got a couple of videos that I am working on, but we'll see how that pans out. And yeah, that's going to be about it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way out the door because it's free and it's good for me. All right, guys. Hopefully, you guys have a great hump day. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Bye bye.